Greetings, humans. I'm George. Welcome back to the Windmill full of corpses. And for the first time ever, I am joined by what looks like a small Swedish village. So we have the entire lineup of An Abstract Illusion joining us. Thank you guys so much for joining. About 3 years ago, when you put out the previous album, Whoa, you had an interview with my brother. And I am determined to make this one better because sibling competition. And I hope he can help me out with that. What do you say?
It should be no problem. The last interview fucking sucked, so
yes,
this one is going to be good.
I thought so. I had to watch it to do my homework for this one. So then we have, the reason there's a small Swedish village is because we have two new people joining. Isak, Lucas, thank you so much for joining. You guys are the new additions, the fresh blood in the band. So let's start out with that. How did you come in contact with these geniuses and convince them that you're on the same level?
I could start. Well, I went to the same music school as Robert back in 2018, and he just mentioned that, I have a metal band with my boys, and I didn't expect anything good. I was like, some garage metal or something, but then I actually listened to it, and I was like, this is exactly the type of music I want to play. So I started nudging him like, hey, if you ever need a drummer, let me know. And 2 years after that, I did my first gig with them in 2020, but that was just a couple of days before complete COVID lockdown. So after that, it was like a break, during a couple of years. And then they released Whoa and contacted me again for live drummer duties.
Mm-hmm.
And then back in 2024, they asked me if I wanted to play the drums on this album, The Sleeping City. So I just got to work on that. And during the drum recording sessions, they asked me if I wanted to join full time. Nice. And I, of course, said yes.
Because in the meantime, it was obvious that it's not a shitty garage band.
Yes, very much so. So that's my story.
And the other guy?
Yeah, it's a similar story for me. I think it was in the same year. Yeah, I think I got to know Robert from music school as well. I guess in folk university. I'm not sure what you would call it. And I played. And Robert asked me to play violin on the recording for Whoa, and also the bassoon, and wow. That's kind of how I got introduced to their music. But then nothing else happened. That was just a recording session, and then post-COVID, Robert called me again and asked if I wanted to do a gig, and that was probably that wasn't the first time I heard the music, of course, but the first time I really got into the music, and I actually thought this is actually really, really good. And I got to know all the other guys, and we have so much fun together. And a few years post that, I think just a few months ago, I said hey, can I please join the band, for real? I love you guys.
Nice.
Yeah. And that's that.
Okay. Well, it's great to have you all on board, new and old alike. And, there's a very beautiful purple thing about to be released 3 days after we're recording this. The recording will probably be out when the album's already out, but it's called The Sleeping City. And it took you 3 years to make, which is half the time that Whoa took to make. So let's get into that. How did the album making process differ from the previous album? Because there's no more pandemic, and I know for that one you were also physically away from each other. So how was this one different, if at all?
I think it was a very interesting process to record Whoa, because we had these MIDI files from a program called Guitar Pro, which is you just write in a bunch of stuff, and it's not real music, it's just MIDI. And then we had those things, and then we just went into the studio with a session drummers, like play the drums for this one. And then afterwards, it was like starting to, I guess, build upon that with like some synth sessions and some vocal sessions, some guitar, bass and stuff. And that took a long time. So, I mean, the drums were recorded back in 2017, I think. Yes. So like one year after Illuminate came out. So it took a long time. Like I moved to Iceland, Chris moved to Greece, Robert moved to Namibia. It's like everyone's all over the place. So it wasn't really a focused effort. I think for this one, the approach we had now was we kind of like demoed everything. We worked inside our inside the box with like actual recordings of everything, so we could do proper demos for this one. Robert and Chris came down to me in southern Sweden, and we started looking at things. And that was just building and sending to the guys and getting input from that. So I don't know if you want to chime in, the other ones.
Yeah, I feel like we had a proper plan for the Sleeping City. We didn't really have that with WoW. We just, because you actually said, we're gonna do like a short EP thing after Illuminate. Then it turned out to be like 58 minutes. So yeah, and so the session drummer was kind of disappointed because he didn't expect the songs to be that long, really. So but he got paid for it, so it's cool. It was really messy. The recording of WoW, and we had a proper plan for this one, and that was very, I don't know, it felt much better, to have some kind of control over things.
Yeah.
And the demo tapes from the start, I was like, this sounds absolutely fantastic, because when Carl wrote WoW, like most of the songs, which were just MIDI files, and we were like, yeah, this is awesome, but we didn't really know how it was going to sound, so we had to change a lot of things in the process, and record some vocals like at one time, and that we're missing some vocals, we need to record more, and we need to record more. It was super messy. So proper plan for this one, and it's it turned out great.
So basically, not having people move continents apart and actually doing demos tends to help.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, absolutely. But we're still like physically very far from each other. So we're like spread out over the whole country. But it doesn't matter. We see each other a couple times a year. To rehearse, and then we also can look at some future songs together.
Mm-hmm. All right. Now for WoW, I know that Carl, you were quote unquote the mastermind, and I'm curious if for this one maybe things are more collaborative, or are you still the dictator?
mastermind / dictator. That's nice.
They tend to be the same thing sometimes.
Yeah. I think this was, it's still, I write the majority, but it's still like, I think this was more collaborative in the sense that we had several drafts all the time. So everyone could come with input during the time. WoW was more like, okay, we write this in this god-awful software program, and then we just patch everything together. But this was more like we start from the bottom, and then we just build it up until we have like the full songs. So I think, and for example, Isaac, he could like, he wrote all of his own drums. I had some suggestions, but he programmed them himself, and then he learned songs and recorded them. So I think it's more collaborative. At least that's how I felt it. I don't know if I'm too much of a dictator to see otherwise.
Absolutely not. At least when it comes to vocals, like when you're writing the music, obviously you have vocals in your head. Like this, I would really like this here to this riff or whatever, to this section. It would be super cool to have real dark. growls or whatever, or really nice cleans or whatever, right? So you say that you have like, you're presenting the idea, and then we're sort of like, yeah, working along that because we agree. It does sound like it's written with that, if you know what I mean. It's nice. We come with input, of course, like Carl says, but most of the things he writes. So, yeah.
Okay, nice. I want to get into another aspect of the creativity part, which is a question that when interviewers ask the bands, I'm always annoyed about it, which is essentially what influences from other bands you've had from this album. But this time I've actually heard some things that sound similar to other stuff, and I'm curious if any of that lands. So if I ask that, does anybody have anything to say? Influences.
Yeah.
Influences. Well, obviously, Vangelis is a big influence on this record, like Blade Runner, for example. I think, I mean, there's some like shoegaze stuff, like My Bloody Valentine, and Swedish synth pop like Kite, Icelandic modern classical like Olafur Arnalds you can hear a lot. So I think that's kind of like the outside influences from outside metal. But then in metal you have obviously the Indie, the Opeth, the Dream Theater, those kind of big metal bands for us.
Okay, is that it?
I mean, there's tons of influences from all of us, but
okay,
those are, I guess, the big ones that I can come up with right now. But if you have anything that you heard and you're wondering about them,
okay, here's what I wanted to put to you. With regards to the keyboard and the sound design specifically, I also know that with the theme of the album, you're going for something more sci-fi themed, more, like you said, synthy, shoegazy. Since I don't listen to those genres, I've probably heard bands in metal that have some of those elements. So for the keyboard sound specifically, I heard a fair bit of Vola and some of the way that the atmospheric parts sound in Tesseract. Like if you think of the second part in Frostflower or of the bridge in Black Murmur. See what I'm on about?
Vola is definitely an influence, I would say. I don't know how much, but I think that the way that Vola uses synth is something that's very inspiring. Like they have this very bright synth to have very like they take the focal point of certain sections. So I definitely think Vola. I mean Tesseract. I don't know if Tesseract is in particular, but the way they use ambience have influenced a lot of other bands that we listen to and kind of that, you know they have the heavy riffs, but then you have this constant atmosphere in the background.
Yes.
So I think I personally don't listen to a lot of Tesseract, but that's something that they do that I think is very cool.
You guys kind of do that too, where there's always an atmosphere in the background, but your atmosphere feels like being in a forest and their atmosphere feels like being in an airport. That's kind of how I put it.
Sure. All right.
Okay. I already mentioned Frostflower a bit, and I wanted to get into I know Gazer, but I don't remember the full title because like it's a paragraph. So I was saying with Gazer and Frostflower, those are kind of yin and yang. Like one is the most aggressive, probably dissonant, cacophonous stuff you've ever done, and the other is probably like the only ballad on the album. So I was curious with those also being one next to the other on the track list, if there's any connection between them either conceptually or anything like that. Or if that just felt like the natural way of working with them because they have that contrast. I don't know.
Should I answer that, or do anyone else want to say something about it?
Anyone who
Go ahead.
Yeah. No, I think it's conceptually it's not really combined, but it's. I mean, it's like you say, if you have the heaviest song, then you don't really want to go heavy again. So you kind of want to do like a softer songs. So, we have 3 pretty straightforward songs back to back to back. But then you kind of want to cool things down a little bit. You don't want to just pummel the listener all the time. So I think we work a lot with, I think, flow on albums. We try to make it so you can listen to it the whole way through without it being weird or like over encumbering.
Yeah, or exhausting. So it's a nice little breather after the heavy stuff.
Yeah. All right. Now, with regards to production, I know you keep that in-house. I think, Carl, you do most of that. I want to disagree with myself with what I said on the reactions, because you guys have all this rich atmosphere that really creates this kind of hazy, dissociating feeling in the music. And that's really cool. And because of that, I kind of had the feeling that like the sound is built that way. But I think that's more from the songwriting, because having listened to the album a couple more times, like you can very clearly distinguish very crisp guitar sound. The vocals are more cutting through and punchy and everything. So I really feel like you've leveled up on that dimension. So is there anything different in the production aspects?
I think it's just an experience thing, I mean, the EP we didn't really produce ourselves. The Illuminate we did most of ourselves, and then Whoa was like the full. Now we're doing everything ourselves here. I mean, we record the vocals, we record the guitars, the acoustics. So I think this is just more like an experience thing, like how do you layer sounds without them like distracting each other, and how do you pull back when you feel like you have too much stuff going on? So I mean, maybe it's not always successful, but it's I guess it's kind of like a trial and error thing, and I feel like we have set up our home recording in a way that we now can experiment more and more. We have learned a lot from Whoa, so we can we know what we think works, and we know what we kind of don't like anymore. So I guess it's more like we have tried a bunch of things, so we're getting better at it. But I feel like next time will be even better. So you never know. Yeah. It's fun. It's fun to experiment in the studio.
And given that more of the production stuff landed on you from what I've seen, because I think on Bandcamp you were credited as a producer, Carl. Are you then in the position where you're to your own band like a producer is, where you deliver the mix and then your bassist starts complaining that he can't hear the bass or stuff like that?
I'm not the mixer. So when I say producer, it's more like like sound choices and those kind of things. Like what all that is put on tape before it's delivered to Robin, who is our mixer. So he's the one who's responsible for making it sound good, kind of. But for the actual recording, it's more like, what kind of reverb do we want to hear? What kind of synth do we have there? And I mean, that's also like a collaborative effort. Like, I mean, I don't pick the synths that Robert uses. It's like a collaboration there. But producer is more like the one who's responsible for trying to pull it all together in that sense.
Okay, cool. I got you. All right. I'm talking only to Carl. I'm gonna try to get to the rest of y'all, hopefully, with the questions I have left. So one thing that's really cool also I've seen credited on Bandcamp is you've had guests, violins and cello. And I did not remember their names, and even if I had, I probably mispronounced them. But given that you have quite a bit of sound design coming from the keyboards and you also have guests, is there anything on the album that's sampled left? Or is it all real instruments at this point?
It's for the strings. What you hear is real strings. Sometimes you have like a backing of samples. Like if you had this really big orchestral parts, it's not just synths, but strings. But we wanted to have like strings to get the human touch in the music. So it's not just kind of sterile samples that just sound perfect. You want that. You want the flaws in the music as well. I mean, they're really good players, but I mean, all humans will have the human touch.
Yeah.
So
I think
that's
it's
kind of what we aimed
pretty.
at.
I think it's pretty common to like do that. Like you hire a few string players and you have them perform a couple of takes, and then you kind of mix it up with some synths just to get like a bigger sound. I think that's a pretty common way of doing.
Nice. Okay, let's get a bit into lyrics and stuff. So you already commented a bit on our Emmett reaction on what it's about, and it's about Emmett Till, a boy who was, I understand, killed in the southern US in the 50s. And why for this album do you decide to address that story, and does it have anything to do with maybe a more central theme to the album?
So I think The Sleeping City isn't like a concept album in itself. It doesn't follow a narrative. But I would say that the songs containing them deal with things that could be maybe like signs of a sick society or a diseased city. So I think like the lynching of Emmett Till is one part of that. You had the other single, No Dreams, which is about how like AI takes over the human creativity and leaves humans with the monotone work. You know, you have all of this AI art popping up everywhere. You have musicians for some reason just starting using it. Big musicians with huge budgets just using AI art instead of using artists. So it's I think it's kind of how we in a sense lose our humanity by letting robots do art for us.
Yeah. While we do robotic tasks.
Exactly. Yeah. So I think all 7 songs are about different topics that deal with like the city in itself. You know, you have this ominous city on the hill where bad things happen.
Yeah, so, where bad things happen and nobody seems to call it out.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay. Now for Whoa, I know, Chris, that you wrote most of the lyrics. For this one, is it still mostly on you?
No. This time the lyrics are written entirely by Carl.
Oh boy. Well, I'm not surprised that I end up talking mostly to you, because you really seem to still be the dictator.
Yeah. Apparently.
He's our dictator after all, you know.
The lyrics were, in my opinion, perfectly written for the songs. They fit perfectly, and the overarching, like, the one theme is that we don't have a theme. but it's not a concept album, right? But it is all the songs belong to this sleeping city, right?
Yeah.
So you can easily see the pattern, and like I said, all the lyrics were perfectly written, and it was very easy to work with as well. So no, there was nothing there to do. Like, it's we just went with it, and it turned out great.
And for you now, having to sing and scream lyrics that aren't your own, have you felt like it's maybe harder to connect with them or anything like that?
No, I can connect with everything because, we share the same values when it comes to these topics. It is, though, I can tell you that it is harder in some sense to sing songs or lyrics that you haven't written yourself, because you have one idea of what you want it to sound like, and the author or the writer has another idea. So there was that, and that's where we had the sort of back and forth conversation, because Carl, like you said earlier, that everyone came with input on their specific part and stuff like that, and that was sort of like my role when it came to the lyrics, at least trying to see, trying to break it down, trying to understand, like, is this a part that we want to emphasize? Which, like, if there's a phrase in this phrase, what part do we really want to sort of like push? And I guess that was the only sort of tricky thing to do. Mm-hmm. It's a lot harder to remember lyrics that someone else has written, actually. Mm-hmm. No, that's about it.
Yeah, but the capacity to connect in that way, like, I think this is also something that's felt through the album overall, is that you guys are pretty much in attunement with each other, in a way that perhaps you've had to struggle with before, just also based on how long it took to make previous albums. Right, now another first with the Sleeping City is a music video. So who's the biggest diva on set, and what has that experience been like for each of y'all? And how many times do you have to hear your own songs, and do you get sick of it when you have to take repeat shots?
I think definitely that Chris is the diva here. Because he's the captain, of course. And, he drinks his tea and, all that stuff. Just relaxing before. No. Well, it was a great experience it was really fun. But it was super cold. It was like in the middle of winter in Denmark. And, Denmark, they don't have especially cold winters. But we stood there, we didn't have enough clothes for it. It was like a couple of minus degrees in the facility where we recorded the video. So that sucked. It was really cold.
Yeah.
But it was a lot of fun. The Marshmallow guys, they were fantastic to work with. It felt very relaxed, because I was kind of nervous. I think we all were nervous because we haven't done anything like this before. None of us. So
I was more nervous for the video shoot than for the live concerts we were doing. But I think Chris was the most nervous.
Yeah,
he was walking around like, "Oh, I'm afraid to forget the lyrics."
Yeah, because like it's sort of easy to kind of pan away in case you miss one note or something. But if you stand there and you sing the wrong lyrics, it will be pretty obvious. Like the movement of the mouth is not like matching the lyrics or matching the sound or whatever. So I was very nervous. And as I said, like, this is our first time, I believe, everyone, or at least for me, like the first time recording a music video. So it was sort of like, how should I want to not look stupid on this video. How do I accomplish this? And there's a lot of, like, when you have a guitar or a keyboard or something, you can just sort of like focus on that and look badass and like, but I got nothing. I didn't have a microphone during the recording. So it was sort of like in the last couple of minutes, like, the fuck am I gonna do with my hands? Like, it's sort of like, what do I do? Like, how do I look? How do people look when they like sing if they don't hold the microphone? Right. I was on that level of over-analyzing everything. So
I think it's pretty easy for us with an instrument. Like, we can just like headbang or whatever. So I think you, Christian, I think you did a like super incredible job, like actually putting yourself out there and like really doing it as a vocalist, because you just have to have faith in yourself as a vocalist to like really look good and look expressive in a music video. And that was really cool.
I couldn't do that.
It was a challenge, for sure. But It was really funny, and as Robert said, it was cold as balls. So it was really like, okay, it's time for me to record this session. Take off all my big ass jacket, my gloves, my hat, everything. Like run out, record this thing, then go back and take everything on again because it was awful. It was so cold. So there was no time to be bad. It was just like, let's go. So yeah, it was great.
Okay, nice. Now, when it comes to music videos, they're a visual thing, and something else that's in part visual is live performances. And we've had the privilege to see you live once in Prog Power. Are there any plans for that in the future still? If anyone knows, and if you're allowed to say.
We were
and if not, I will take the weight of suspense.
We're not allowed to say no. We have things in the works.
Okay.
Nothing's that announced. So things that will be announced and things that might be announced, but nothing that we can say anything about at this moment. But I think it's gonna be a few fun things to do next year.
Okay. So the intent is there and the dream remains alive.
Yes.
Yes.
Nice.
Yes.
We love performing live. It's just that we haven't got much opportunity to do it. But I mean, we did the gigs in Denmark in January, and that was so fun to do with Jotun and Hexprocess and Blodmåne, the Danish opening acts. So that was a great experience to do like several gigs in a row.
Yeah.
Nice. Well, hopefully you get some opportunities for more extensive touring as well. That would be spectacular. I am nearly at the end, but there's taking a step back and looking more at the bigger picture. There's one more thing that I wanted to point out. So with the first two releases, you were kind of atmospheric black metal, and then for Woe, you turned more towards prog, and then with Sleeping City, what even is an abstract illusion at this point? Do you guys still have a genre? Do you guys still have a way of defining yourselves other than a small Swedish village?
I mean, we just say it's prog metal, I think.
Yeah.
I think none of us wanted to do like this album. None of us wanted it to be Woe Part 2 because it's not really fun because it's been done. That sound, so we don't want an album that sounds exactly the same, and the next album won't sound like this one. It will be like another branch.
I definitely think like most good artists that I like does something new for each album. Of course, you can still like feel like it's that band, but I think it's a good thing to like try a lot of different things and like in a way. I'm not sure.
I think I 100% agree with everyone here. I think if we have one identities, I think it's our way of blending like the heavier moments with the calmer moments, or the violent moments with the beautiful moments. I think, and whether that happens through like black metal or death metal or ambient or prog rock or whatever, we're happy to do it as long as it kind of like fits inside in the mood or the vibe that we want to achieve.
Yeah.
And I also think that all of us like listen to every kind of music. So I feel like a lot of things can happen.
Yeah.
Yeah.
For sure.
All right. Well then, that is all that I have had. Thank you all so much for joining. It's been a pleasure connecting with you all again. I really look forward to the album release and to see how it turns out. And that would be all.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, George.